You got to signal us, okay?
Okay, wait.
Everyone, is everybody there with us right now?
Yes, sabar.
Good evening, everyone. Sabar ke? Dah. Okay.
Okay, now go.
Okay. Welcome to our Gerak Independent webinar series. So this would be, I believe, the first of many. And every webinar series, every webinar event will be packed with surprise. I have a wonderful task of introducing no strangers to you, Arun, Haris, and Taufik. Hello. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Talk about the reluctant statesman. Now, that phrase in itself is already packed with oxymoron and very interesting things that we're going to talk about. I'm going to pass the time over to Arun, because all of them have limited time and everybody has a whole host of things that they want to share. And in between here and there, we will throw in a few surprises for you to do. Over to you, Arun.
Okay, thank you, Jasmine. All right, fantastic evening to all of our viewers here, whether through Facebook or YouTube or wherever you are, whether you're going to see it live or you're going to see a recorded one. The message is the same, Gerak Independent, okay? If you're one of them that's really frustrated with what had happened to our Malaysia Baru, okay, so-called Malaysia Baru, yeah? If you're frustrated with all this kata culture that's been happening, where the riot's mandate been betrayed, okay? If you one of those that really feel that you've been cheated, flat out, been cheated, okay? If you're one of those that thinking that the next general election, you're going to stay away. If you're one of those that thinking that you're going to have a undi rosa or whatever the thing is, we totally hear you. I totally with you. Okay, I had the same sentiment. All of us were so jubilant. We were all over trying to create a concept called Malaysia Baru. We wanted a lot of reforms to be done. Okay, we were so in a celebration mode on that very fateful day of May. Okay, so now what happened? All of a sudden, things just turned south. Okay, and the government currently that is governing Malaysia, it is not the government that mandated by people. So what is a democracy if the government that is governing them is not the government they chose? It is no longer democratic. It is no longer voice of people. Whatever they are doing, that does not matter. Okay, there is a system in Malaysia, and the system is we have chosen one party to rule. Okay, in between, we have this MPs, okay, for whatever reason, they can justify. I tell you, even a rapist will justify his action. Okay, so they can justify whatever they want, but this is not the mandate. Okay, where we go, the last webinar, if you remember, if you haven't seen, you haven't seen the webinar 1.0, I really recommend you go back and see the webinar 1.0. Okay, so now the 1.0 webinar, we already made a very compelling case. The organized parties, whether it is Pakatan Harapan or Barisan Nasional or Perikatan Nasional or Muafakat Nasional, whatever you call it, okay, whatever block that comes in, and whoever MP that's standing based on the block, okay, based on the block, they will represent the block's interest first, not Rakyat. I repeat, okay? Whenever they are representing, say so, they're representing PKR or they're representing UMNO, they're representing Bersatu, whoever they're representing, the ideals, the principle, the need, the interest of that very particular party they are standing on will be first. The Rakyat interest is second. That's exactly been happening all the time. Okay, so whatever the need of the constituents, the voice of Rakyat always secondary. But when they come to you for vote, they will promise everything else. Like how Tun Mahathir said, the manifesto is not binding. How would you explain to a little kid, this promise is not meant to be kept? What kind of next generation that we are raising? What kind of integrity people that, what kind of values that we are promoting? We do not need this kind of MPs. We want people to mean business. We want people to have integrity. We want people to have honesty, because that is exactly what is missing currently in our system. That's exactly what is missing in Parliament. They both are fighting, like how the pepatah Melayu goes, okay? Gajah sama gajah lawan, rusa di tengah mati terpijak lah. Tak pandai sangat peribahasa ni. All right, but the idea is both of them fighting, okay? The interest. How about the interest of the rakyat? Okay, this exactly what we said the last time. The big party fails. So right now, we need a monitor in the class. Okay, we have these 2 groups or 3 groups, whoever the group is, fighting to put their interests in the parliament, their voice to secure their position, to secure their power, they secure their money. Okay, so who now will monitor this and do the power balancing? That's why we need a movement called Gerak Independent. Independent candidates that represent only and only, okay, the voice and the needs of rakyat. Promise is a promise. People with the highest integrity, people with the highest honesty, people that mean business, people do not have a fear, people that will stand for people. That type of independent people need to be sent to Parliament, and they will be the balancing power between these 2 giants that fighting for money and power and position, and that's all they're fighting for. So that's how Gerak Independent was born. Okay, now this Gerak Independent, the ideas are fantastic. I'm sure the viewers out there, hey, you guys are too idealistic. Sounds really good. Okay, and it's too good to be true. You know what? Nothing is impossible until we try it, and we try it until it works, right? So this Gerak Independent is a movement of putting independent MPs that represent the values and the voices of rakyat in Parliament in balancing this. So the last webinar we said about 20, some 20 odd numbers. Okay, something of that sort. Okay, so now, and we also say do not outsource your responsibility. It is not my responsibility, Arun Dorosami. It's not Jasmine's responsibility. It's not Taufik's responsibility, and it's not the responsibility of Haris either. It's a collective responsibility of all Malaysian that have the ideal dream of Malaysia Baru. I think we have to resurrect the idea of Malaysia Baru, and we cannot be standing here and complaining. So for us to move this not just agenda, this idea, this Gerak, we need to pool resources. Other than your support, other than your sound of saying yay, okay, we also need resources. The resources has to come with the dollars and cents, okay? And we have made case last time, and this time with your support, okay, we have to raise money. Without money, okay, we cannot do anything. We can just dream. The dream will stay as a dream. If the dream is beautiful, for us to make it a reality, we have to make this dream a reality. We need resources. The resources come in 2 forms. One is dollars and cents. Another one is you. You will be promoting to others that we need to empower this independent candidate with the highest integrity and honesty, and they will represent the constituents to MP and to be the monitor and the balance power in Parliament. So, okay, throughout this webinar, we'll be talking about resources. We need funding. Okay, the crowdfunding is one of the way to get your support. Don't just complain. Don't just get frustrated. Act on the frustration. Act. And we have to act until we fix this. Whether it's going to take 1 election or 2 election or endless election, we got to try. Nothing stops until we stop trying. So my humble humble request to all those out there and very, very skeptical about the idea of independent. By the way, there isn't any independent have ever won independently goes to parliament. Yes, true. Because then there was not a Gerak independent. There was not a movement of people that supporting independent candidates. We can change that. Hey, just 30 months ago, we changed the entire government and everybody thought it was impossible. We made it. And once again, okay, we call all Malaysians of all race and religion and creed and the geographical position doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in Malaysia or outside of Malaysia or any part of Malaysia. If you have a dream of a new Malaysia, you have ideals for Malaysia, it's about time for you to come and try with us and pool resources, fund us, support us, guide us, and walk with us. And with that, Jasmine, I'll hand over to you. They are not just going to put money. I'm not asking for money alone. I'm asking for your voice, for your support, and let's do it together. Do not outsource it to us. Take ownership. It's our country, and it's our future, and it's our generation. And if we don't do it, nobody else will. Come, let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Arun. I mean, we can definitely see the passion about what you believe is the way to go, and Gerak independent is what we want to do. But there was a very interesting question that came up in the comment just now. We put these independent people, independent MPs, independent politicians, independent statesmen into parliament, and then they jump. So how do we manage things like that? I mean, we talk about Gerak independent, we talk about having independent movement within the parliament, the highest body of policy making in the land. But what guarantee is there that whoever we place in don't behave like the present bunch? To help me, well, to give me a perspective on that, Haris, I'd like to invite you to have a stab.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I think Arun has very eloquently summarized the frustration and despair that every Malaysian who fought to bring about change in the 14th GE has felt over the last few months. I don't propose to regurgitate all of that, but I want to, and I'll come back to your question, Jasmine. Let me put a context to it. I want to start off what I have to say with two words: take ownership. You know, if you go back through all of the elections that we've all been through, those of you in my generation, it goes back several. We need to understand this, that the vote of the electorate is the supreme power vested in the Constitution to citizens. We actually have the power to shape the direction of the nation. But you see, what we've been doing all these years is, come election time, political parties will bring the candidates to us. We know nothing about them generally. And ini, mini, mini, mo, and we pick one. All right. Now, the question that was put by Jasmine, how do we stop this pesta kata? You know, and Arun was talking about picking candidates of the highest integrity, those whom we are confident will not betray the trust that has been bequeathed to them through the vote. Now, I will say this: it's near impossible to give 100% guarantee that someone whom we pick will always be faithful. That's why you have, the large number of divorces every year. Okay, I love you, you love me. Daddy, this is the best choice I can find. 5 years later, at the end, the divorce courts. So, what we can do, what we must do, is never ever again feel helpless in that we do not know the range of candidates before us. And one of the things that I'm very pleased to share about this effort coming through Gerak Independent and this effort that's being driven by Maju and a few others is to develop a vetting process. A vetting process, which means independent candidates whom we are looking to take into the 15G and beyond. Firstly, we have a very stringent vetting process. Now, I don't want to say too much about this because I think I want to leave Taufik to share a bit more on this with you. But I think this is one, a vetting process. And really, this is really about us retaking back the democracy that is supposed to enable us to determine and dictate where the country goes. So in this vetting process, we want you, the voters, the citizen, to take ownership of this process. And we hope to be able to share, even if not in this webinar, maybe in the next. But I think Taufik is going to give you a bit of a teaser. I'll leave it to Taufik. So you need to get involved. You take ownership. And I want to suggest this. People have been asking me, Haris, so how many candidates do you think you're going to offer? 222? I say, you all are mad. 222. You know what's the kind of resources you need for 222 candidates? Number one. Number two, where to find 222 of credibility? It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. Not our fault. It is a fault of 20 over years of Mahathir's rule, where they never saw the need to develop and cultivate second phase, third phase, fourth phase of leadership. And people have grown so disenchanted with the political process, they want to get involved. This is the reality we face today. So basically, at the end of the day, what we are looking at is this. If you look at the days after the 14GE, the Pakatan Harapan had about 113 seats. Now, to form a government with 113, go and ask Moidin. Moidin is aware of this. He's, excuse the French, shitting bricks. The rather precarious situation. Pakatan Harapan had about 113. Warisan came in with 8 and took them to a safe 1-1. Now, Moidin has been pushing on 13th of July in order to remove Arif. They only had 113. But how did they make the numbers? 18 came from GPS Sarawak. What am I trying to tell you all? You don't need to take a big number into the next parliament. Anything between 15 to 20, you, the rakyat who back this initiative, are potentially in the position of kingmakers. Number one, that means any reform agenda that we are carrying through this effort, we are in a position to say, look, no coalition, no working with y'all unless this reform agenda becomes a priority. Okay? Now, in that sense, with the smallest possible number, we may begin to take back the power to decide the direction of this country. Okay? And it is in this sense that I say, no point, my friends, sitting in the kopitiam, sitting in the golf club and complaining about what's happened. Let's get up and do what needs to be done. Okay? On our part, what we will do is this. We are reaching out to the very best in society that we know. Okay? And I want to emphasize this. Now, you will be seeing names whose pedigree in this country is unquestionable. Please do not be intimidated by big names. I am keen to open up this platform to the average Joe out there who feels tremendous love for this nation. Negaraku, tanah tumpahnya darahku. This is your country. And don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. But you need to take ownership, because if you say, negara ini negaraku, tapi saya cari makan, you are no different from the foreigner working here to repatriate money back to his home. You need to be different. We need to step up. We need to take ownership. Okay? Now, I'm pretty sure Jasmine's going to allow us a bit more time after all three speakers, because I got a hell of a lot to share with all of you. Okay? But now, let me just very quickly address that question you put to me pointedly, Jasmine.
Yes.
The trouble with Malaysians is we have been too passive. What do I mean by passive? You know, if something like this happens in the Philippines, the fellow who has taken money after he has won your vote, he dare not walk the streets, you know, because a bullet might greet him on the forehead. We Malaysians are too passive. Okay, I'm not sitting here advocating murder because this is being live streamed outside. But all I'm saying is this: we must not be so ready to serah aja lah, like there's nothing we can do. Friends, there's a lot we can do. When we are not on live stream, you can PM me and we can discuss this. But I'm basically saying this. The answer is this. One, scrutinize the candidates. Pick people whom for a long time we feel a sense of confidence in their integrity. Do a stringent background check. We must know their situation. Because if you are on the verge of bankruptcy, you may be potentially vulnerable. Okay, so basically we need to be satisfied with our scrutiny. And this is where I want to emphasize this again. My friends, you are going to take ownership of that process. We will vet the candidates, we bring them to you, but you have a significant say. Okay, and that's taking ownership. I'm not going to say anything anymore for now, but Jasmine, you can't shut me up later.
No, who would dare? Nobody dare to shut you up, Haris. But very interesting thing with regards to the vetting. And I think those who are listening in are really, really curious as to the kind of vetting criteria that we are going to adopt, that will be looked at and potentially made available. And of course, we want to see as many red-blooded Malaysian for Malaysia to step up as much as possible. Before I go to Encik Taufik, I'd like to just share a little bit about technology, because that's where I come from. I'm very passionate about technology. One of the things that will enable the Gerak independent movement now and make a real difference as compared to the past is very much to do with technology. And this is where Maju has taken up the responsibility of building a platform for the people to engage directly with their independent candidate or with all the candidates of their choice, regardless of their independence potentially. And as we are looking at this, what we are looking for is support to build this. And this is where I am now, on behalf of Maju, opening up a fundraising effort for the Gerak independent movement. To enable this movement, we need a backbone. And that backbone will sit on technology so that it is cost effective and easily distributed. And it is with great honor and much humility that we post this link asking for support of what we call the People Elect application. We'll talk a little bit more about this and the substance by which this comes up from. I'll have Saudara Taufik share with us. Over to you, Taufik.
Thank you, Jasmine. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I think we need to go back to first principles here. Where did we go wrong as a nation? We've been independent for more than 60 years. And I think there's a lot of gaps between people's expectations and what's actually been delivered by the powers that be. Part of the reason is because of party politics. I would like to state right here that I used to be a member of UMNO. I'm saying I used to be because I don't know whether UMNO, as I knew it, is in existence or not. Because as far as I'm concerned, UMNO was killed off in 1986, 1987. What is said to be UMNO right now is only a collection of individuals that use the name UMNO. If we looked at the whole spectrum of politics from 1957, which is when Malaya, I emphasize Malaya was independent, to 1963 when Malaysia was formed, there was a moral compass that was set by the founding fathers to tell us where to go and what to achieve. In those 60 years, I'm asking you to search yourself and ask what are the successes that we have managed for our people. And one of the reasons why we have failed is because there's been too much party politics. There has been very little by way of substance in the way we govern the country. Look at all the people who are ministers and how they behave themselves. And you can see in the last few weeks that we have been very disappointed in the behavior of some of them. And this is all because they all feel protected by party politics. As long as you do well in the party, you will do well in your chosen profession of being a politician. But this is not what a politician is about. A politician is there to serve. And I think that one of the criteria that you must look for in a candidate that stands is whether he has the moral fiber to resign when he does something wrong, because he has put your trust in him. And if he betrays your trust, then he must be a gentleman, put pen to paper and say, I'm sorry, I cannot continue. I have to go. Find someone else. This is the mark of a statesman. And this is what I think tonight we're looking for. I think I will stop at that point because I can see that Jasmine is very pleased with what I say. And I hope that everybody else is as well, because there will be a lot more to say later on. Thank you, Jasmine.
Most welcome. And absolutely correct. I mean, you are the person who's been involved in UMNO, and we have somebody here whose war cry for a very long time was anything but UMNO. I now open it up a little bit more to Haris, and then I'll go back to Arun to supplement what we've been talking about with regards to an independent candidate, and how will the people engage with this independent candidate. How will we hold them to the promises by which we elected them into a position of power for?
Okay, I'm just going to take the baton from Taufik. Yeah? I've said this earlier in the earlier webinars, but I think it bears repeating. 2 episodes this year, to me, spotlight how when push comes to shove, politicians will align to party interests and put the interests of the rakyat aside. Sheraton move was one. Glaringly, we saw the helter-skelter on both sides. Very little consideration was given to pledges to us. Go back a little bit before that, not within our country, but we saw the impeachment proceedings against Trump, and how the Republicans completely disregarded, in a sense, the clarion call from the public to say, let us see the evidence. Disregarded. So we've seen this again and again. We've seen this again and again. I go back to 2011 when at that point in time, we had already begun to discover that in 2008, many of the opposition parties put any Tom, Dick and Harry to stand simply because they sensed that there was this anything but UMNO mood kicking in. And so the notion was put a donkey against UMNO and the donkey would win. And guess what? They put some donkeys there and we still have donkeys there. Okay? Now, in that sense, we are just as culpable. You know, we don't understand that. You know, somebody was speaking to me today, and looking at the fiasco in Parliament over yesterday and today, and I said, "Excuse me, you know what you put in a toilet bowl, and when you flush, you know what goes out. So when you put rubbish in a Parliament, that's what you get out." Guys, yes, friends, there is so much to be unhappy about, but at some point in time, you need to go look in the mirror. And that's when you tell yourself, okay, what can I do? What can I do? And not digressing from this Gerak independent, I am the third force. And the third force is simply about waking up to take ownership of what's happening in your constituency, in your country, in your parliament. Take ownership. Take ownership, okay? And yes, as Arun was saying, it costs money. it does cost money. But guess what? If you are taking ownership of it, there is valuable consideration flowing to you. You know, Arun, Jasmine, Taufik, Siti, myself, we are stepping up to do this as part of our national service. Love of motherland. Okay, do your part. Do your part. And I keep telling people, look, I don't expect all of you to be as gila as Haris and get into the deep end of the swimming pool from the word go. I too, 20 years ago, started by getting into the wading pool, the baby pool. Take baby steps. But now is the time, because if you are unhappy with the direction of the country, trust me, with Muafakat Nasional and with Mohidin rather precarious and Pakatan Harapan neither here nor there, a flank of independent candidates, quality, integrity unquestionable, may just swing it for us. Okay?
And this is where I really want to talk about people elect. How the floor, the Rakyat, is going to engage with the candidate of choice in their respective constituency. And that's where the platform for people elect, where the Rakyat will directly engage with the candidate during election, even before election, as they are running up to it. And you know, the most important, and this is where it really gets me excited, is after election, whatever that has been promised, all the manifesto and the fact that they are voted in as independent candidates, the people on the ground, the Rakyat, is their party. Because when they perform for us, that's where we give them the support from ground up. There is no replicating that support, because when we vote, we know what we are voting. We are continuously engaging with the person that we voted for. And there is sincerity and genuinity. The candidate that we put in there, we will support from the ground up. And I think that is a message directly to partisan politics. We don't, the people who, our representative who work for us, don't need a party behind them. They just need us. And this, I believe, is the essence of democracy. I would like to just have Arun comment a little bit more about this. So we need an app called the People Elect. And that's where we are looking at the ground fundraising it, supporting it, because it is going to be used by you to control the fate of your country, your homeland, your children's future. Arun?
That is well said. We do not need a broker in between Rakyat and the parliament. So we are removing that part. And we all agree, we have seen it time and time again. So right now, we do not need a broker. Like what Ari just said, we are calling the Malaysian for national service. That's it. It's nothing, nothing more, nothing less. A national service for us to reinstate the Malaysian ideals, the Malaysian dream, the Malaysia Baru dream that we all had then, okay? So again, tak kenal maka tak cinta. You got to know your candidates. So how do we connect your candidates with your constituents, all right? So with the Majus team and with a team of really capable individuals, will vet through the person really stringently. Okay, so now we have a list of candidates that's ready. Okay, so we're going to set up a platform, an application, is a phone application called People Elect. Okay, so that platform, that application will now support, okay, support the candidates. So now the constituents can directly connect with the candidates. They can directly fund the candidates. They can ask questions. They can ask them, what is your manifesto? Why do they need to trust them again? Okay, this kind of stuff. So all the People Elect will do, kenalkan that candidate to you. Connect the candidate to you so that you now can do your part, take ownership, make sure the person that represents your voice, your future, your needs are worth it, and you can vouch for him via vote and via money. So this people elect application needs money. Okay, again, I go back. I'm not here to sell a product. I'm here asking all of us, let's pool resources. We cannot do it alone. I mean, whether Siti or Jasmine or Haris or Taufik or the whole team, we cannot do it alone. We need help. Okay, one of the resources we need is money. Another one, money alone will not win us. That's for sure. We need more independent candidates out there. Okay, young people to step up. It's okay if we fail. It's okay if we fall down. We'll rise again. Okay, it's not about failure. We should worry about. Not trying. It is the biggest risk, and we can afford to take that risk right now. So the people elect is an application, okay, where it connects the candidate with the constituents, and we need resources to develop that. At the same time, we need our young minds and all those national lovers out there. They want to see our Malaysian dream comes true. It's okay we fail once. We will not rest until the Malaysian dreams are reinstated. The reforms are done. So now all of you need to support. How are you going to support? Okay, right now I see in Facebook there's only 36 sharing. Please share it wherever you can, in your pages or wherever you can, whether it's Facebook and things like that. Talk about it. Make sure you come forward to be one of the candidates. And also the little that you have, it can be a 10 ringgit. It's okay. It is okay. It is your action that matters, not the amount that matters. Okay, come and show your support. That we have no time, no room to be complacent or we complain. We have no time. We have only time for us to unite, pull ourselves together, pull our resources together to yield the ownership and dream big. So again, the people elect application needs fund, and we need to develop now. We do not know. We need to develop now, and this costs money. And please, throughout this program, there is a link for you to go and do your donation. And the donation is not about money. We need to know how many out there that are ready for national service. How many out there are ready to support this movement? Again, I'm saying it is not about winning. It's about trying. Okay, if we fail to try now, we have no right to complain about what's going to happen tomorrow. So again, once again, Jasmine, on behalf of the entire Gerak Independent, I summon each and every Malaysian citizen that have the dream of Malaysian ideals, the Malaysia Baru, come forward. Do not just talk. Talk only, no action is a BS. So come on, do it. It's not about money. Okay, your 1 ringgit or your 10 ringgit, your 1,000 doesn't matter. Come and support. Let's pull together. And we pull almost 203 million for Pakatan Baru, Pakatan Harapan to pay debts. We can do it. We can do it. And you know, this something never happened before. We have made every impossible possible. And this is just a small little thing. Together, we can do it. Okay?
Thank you so much, Arun. I mean, let me just also talk a little bit about Gerak Independent. Right now, Gerak Independent, apart from Maju, there is also the third force. And then from Taufik's side, Malaysia First, the entire group is also looking at this. And of course, from Arun, Kita Bantu Kita is also behind this whole thing, right? And we are inviting more NGOs and NGIs who feel passionately about putting in a credible, capable, independent MP into Parliament to come alongside and join. This is not an exclusive movement. It is an all-inclusive movement for all Malaysians. Now, a little bit more about the people elect. I just wanted to just share this. We will only put vetted candidate onto the platform. This platform, they will then be able to make, like Arun said, kalau tak kenal, tak cinta. So this is where through the platform, yes, people will get to know their MP, understand do they stand for? Do they agree with it? And then when the time comes, and it's not a one-way communication, it's two ways. Relationship is two ways. There's no way it's one-way telling, right? The candidates also need to know from ground what is it that they want in those constituencies. And with the two-way communication between the candidate and their constituent workers, we hope that we put into Parliament the representative that we deserve, that we voted for, that will work for us, not for partisan politics, as Taufik had said. And that's where we really want to bypass the partisan politics that has besetted our country all these years. We are looking at a new setting free of our own representatives, not having them beholden to partisan warlords and the likes of the old system. So that's where we are coming from on the People Elect platform. If this is a platform that you believe you can support, that's where we are going to share the link to help fundraise. Whatever amount you care to contribute, it would be welcome and encouraged. I'd like to just have Taufik share a little bit more with regards to how you feel People Elect will be able to, can we say, democratize the democratic process in Malaysia again?
Love that smile. Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take you back to a time in 1987 when UMNO was dissolved, and there was this problem between Mahathir and the judges. And the first time that I became an independent was when the party was taken away from me, when UMNO was considered to be unlawful. And there were three of us at that time, myself, Datuk Syariel Samad, and Kadri Sabran, who represented Mersing. When Syariel challenged Mahathir, he resigned from his seat and became an independent candidate for Johor Bahru. And I can still remember the passion with which his candidacy as an independent was met by the people of Johor Bahru. And also, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the way Syariel conducted his campaign, it is a model for independent candidates all over. He was crowd-funded by the people of Malaysia, not necessarily from Johor Bahru. Everybody contributed things like $1 or $2 or maybe $5, all in an envelope, and posted to him in Johor Bahru. And that was quite a lot of money that he collected, and money that he put to good use in campaigning, and he won. He won the elections, and that made him a lifelong enemy of Mahathir, because Mahathir does not like to be defeated. And I think Syariel has everyone's highest regards for being able to stand up to authority. And I think this is something which gives us all encouragement, because it is possible to stand up for what you believe to be right and to win. And this is important. The other thing that you have to bear in mind is that when you elect members of parliament, you are electing 222 people, and these 222 people are qualified to become the Prime Minister of Malaysia, because the Prime Minister has to be a member of parliament. So when you choose a member of parliament from whichever constituency you're at, just imagine him to be a future Prime Minister. And when you do that, you will have in your mind certain criteria that you expect from your Wakil Rakyat. To be quite honest with you, Malaysia is very much overrepresented. We have state assemblymen, we have local council, we have members of parliament. Actually, because we are overrepresented, we do have a choice of who we want. And because of that, we are in a very lucky position of being able to assess for ourselves the type of leaders that we want. And when we put our money where our mouth is, we can make that happen much better than if we just relied on party to choose our candidates. And I think this is where People Elect becomes very, very important movement at this time of our country's history. I started Malaysia First just a couple of weeks ago, and it was overwhelming, the feedback that I got from both East and West Malaysia. And for some reason or other, I was not made aware of how bad things were between us in Malaysia. But now that I have started this movement, I know that there is a need for someone to be able to stand up and speak on behalf of those who feel marginalized by the party politics system. So Jasmine, back to you. I think there are some ideas from Arun and from Harris that can actually reinforce what I've just said. Thank you.
Yep. So I believe we have spoke a little bit about the people elect, and there are some questions. So one of the biggest thing that is coming through across all the Facebook comment is, how do we hold these candidates accountable? I mean, apart from the vetting process, which we are inviting, how they would like for people elect to vet through the worthy candidates. But, you know, as Haris and Arun had said earlier, Haris actually, getting married, at the time of getting married, everything looks good. And then ultimately there's still a divorce, right? And that's the biggest concern that people have. My take is, if you don't take the risks, you will always be stuck with what you have. If you don't even consider taking the risk of putting somebody at the very minimum from the beginning looking credible, you will be stuck with the lot that we have today. So I don't see it as a choice. I see it as something that needs to happen. Arun and Haris, would you like to comment?
Arun?
Yeah, go ahead, Haris.
I'm giving way to you, come.
Okay, Jasmine, can I ask you to put the question again? I was looking at one of the comment here. Thank you for doing this. My biggest concern is how we be able to get young voters in this initiative. So I was reading this this comment from Arif Abdul, so which is a good one, and probably we'll talk about it later. So can you put the question back to me again, Jasmine?
Well, pretty much about how do we hold the candidates that we vet and then ultimately put into parliament accountable? You know,
actually,
that's the biggest, yeah.
Actually, Jasmine, like what I already said, okay, no one can guarantee 110%, but what we can guarantee, the vetting process of choosing the individual with the highest integrity will eliminate that possibility or bring the risk to the lowest. Okay, so that's all we can do. Again, the vetting process, some people ask us who will be actually involved in the vetting process and how would the vetting process will take place, what kind of criteria there is. Believe me, okay, this webinar today is not the last one going to be, okay? There are going to be a lot of things are developing as we speak, and some of the individuals that coming forward to vet this candidates are really people with the highest integrity. And again, once again, we can put the values system first. We can have a people with a principle, with a sound principle first. And this type of candidate is the one will be vetted. These are the candidates will be given the platform to, will be given the people elect platform. These are the candidates that we will be helping them to go to parliament. Again, nobody can guarantee 110%, but this is the best choice that we have. Okay, we have to make the best out of it. And the best thing is, no, we cannot hold anybody honest unless they're honest person. Okay, so we have to now find the person with the integrity and honesty so that we do not have this pesta kata. Right now, the entire country is now ran with after the effect of pesta kata. And I do not know. Actually, I really do not know how would this politician will face their constituents. How would they face their kids? How would they face their own self? And how would they justify even? And again, this is I mean, the outcome, what happened, the Sheraton move and all the stuff, it is actually accentuated before. Okay, why didn't Pakatan Harapan, when they came, okay, move for the idea of anti-hopping law? Because they were the beneficiary of people hopping in. Okay, Bersatu got a lot of candidates from a lot of MPs from UMNO and that kind of stuff, so they're very complacent. Okay, so again, to make things very short, okay, we cannot guarantee 110%, but the vetting process, choosing the right person to represent the voice of people on the independent platform, will eliminate or bring the risk of being kata to the lowest level. So that's all we can do. Again, once Rakyat engage and take ownership, again, no one will dare to jump. Like what Mr. Harris said, okay? We are not promoting anything illegal, but at the same time, we will be holding each and every people that representing us in the parliament with everything they have promised the people. So that is very, very important. Back to Aris, because I know you know this subject better than I do, and I'm just a pup when it comes to the experience of dealing with this the entire pesta.
Thanks, Arun. Jasmine, do I have time?
Yes, you do. Take it away.
Look,
I know you got a lot that you want to say.
Today's webinar is entitled Introducing the Reluctant Statesman. Okay. Now, I can tell you over the last few days, I've been speaking to people whom I've identified as having the right credentials. And I'll tell you, they are dodging me. They are avoiding me. They don't want to take my calls. They don't want to sit down and have tea with me. These are the reluctant politicians. Now, the eager beaver, the one who's calling me and saying, Haring, me, I want. That's the one I want to scrutinize closely. Now, we cannot guarantee, but what we can do is through the vetting process. And my friends, the vetting process is going to be extremely stringent. The vetting process can help us to eliminate and reduce the likelihood. Now, having done all of that, you know, your quality control might miss one or two. We don't know. We don't know, right? Or circumstances may change. We don't know. But here's the thing. Don't, at the end of the day, if we take ownership of that constituency, that representative is supposed to be representing us, coming to us for mandates. And now he's turned rogue. He or she has turned rogue. The thing to do is not to sit back and say, what can we do? Let me put it this way, and I'm going to say this very, very carefully because I don't want to be running foul of any laws. Under our laws, there are situations where a seat can become vacant. For instance, someone who has not attended proceedings for 6 months continuously, the speaker will declare the seat vacant. Okay? Now, He Yit Fung, who was DAP and who crossed apparently for 20 million. When she apparently went to the market people refused to sell her anything. Now, that's an idea of what are the things you can do. And I'm saying not enough. I'm saying life must become so miserable. Okay? So maybe they take their money and I will tell them, take your money and leave this country. Because if you leave this country for 6 months, you are not at sitting, the seat is declared vacant, we have a by-election. There are other ways in the constitution, you need to go and look at it. I'm not going to spell it out here, where a seat becomes vacant. Somebody who becomes, you know, of unsound mind, or who trips over a stone, falls down, hits his head and dies. All sorts of things can happen. All sorts of things can happen. What I'm saying is we take ownership. If the individual has turned rogue, we will force a by-election. You'll read into that how you will. Okay?
No wonder they're so reluctant to see you, Haring.
Yes. Because I have told each and every one of them, if I don't think you will, but if you do, you're going to face me. I'm going to be your enforcer, my friends.
That is the national service we are talking about.
Absolutely.
We take ownership of our country, and
Absolutely.
we each and every one of us, we have to safeguard the democracy that we have, and our voice is a solemn voice of the nation, must be protected. Yes, you are so right. We cannot let them just get away with it. Okay?
It has to stop.
We should not.
Yep.
We will not.
The people have to rise up.
Absolutely.
And with people elect, we can galvanize, unite. Taufik, comments?
Well, I think the time has come for people to stand up and let people know where they stand on matters of public policy. And I think this time around, because people are more aware of their rights and because they're more aware of what is wrong with the country, I think one of the first criteria for a good member of parliament to represent any constituency is a good knowledge and a good working knowledge of the Constitution. Because as Professor Shad Faruqi says, this Constitution is our document of destiny. And in it, all the safeguards are there. You will not be led into all kinds of problems by political parties that want to use, for example, race and religion as their platform to gain and retain power. I think any member of parliament that comes to the front with a lack of understanding of the Constitution is a danger not only to himself, but also to his constituents. And I think Harris has been able to talk about this many times over the last few years. And I think the current speaker as well, Art Harun, has made a lot of videos about the Constitution and how important it is to the individual. And I think this is where a lot of our gaps lie between East and West Malaysia. We do not understand and we do not know our rights, and we do not know, and we are not told by our current members of parliament what are the limitations on anyone's right to question your belief or take away your privacy. And I think this is something which has been very much in the minds of people. There are instances of forced conversions, as Arun has been fighting for, where people have been made Muslims when they are not. And I think this is something which is not only detrimental to the people concerned, but also detrimental to the integrity and image of Islam as a religion. Because I think one of the fundamental things that we have to rely upon are all these guys who speak as though they receive the word of God directly, and when they don't even look at what the common sense solution is to a lot of people's problems. And I think one of the criteria that we need to place inside our vetting is how well do you know the laws of the country before you represent us? Because you are sent to parliament to formulate laws. And we do not want a situation like what happened in the last parliament before GE 14, where the speaker himself did not follow the standing orders or the constitution and allowed RUU 355 to be tabled before even consulting the Conference of Rulers. So I think these are things which people have to ask themselves, and which I think they should seek guidance from institutions like the courts, and also by asking knowledgeable people who are among them, like Harris, and people who are leading change like Maju. That is what I'd like to say at this point of time. Perhaps the others can add on to what I've said as criteria for what they need to see in a member of parliament. Thank you.
Taufik, I'd just like to understand a little bit more about your story, and what, apart from what you just said about the person having integrity and deeper understanding and working knowledge of our document of destiny, what else Would this person need? Would this person be? And does this person exist? Is it a myth?
Well,
Do of such nature exist?
Well, I don't think we are unique, Jasmine. I think we are like many other people around the world. I think if we're all looking at our television screens right now, looking at the news from the United States, I think you can see how detailed and deep the vetting process is when they scrutinize candidates, when they talk to the president, and when they ask questions of their congressmen or their senators. I think that is the level of scrutiny that our representatives should allow themselves to be subjected to. And I think we need to ask very hard questions about what and who people are and what they stand for, and whether they can actually withstand the pressure of questions from the floor in a town hall environment where there's no holds barred. That's a lovely picture of you on the screen, I think.
Just trying to get the Gerak independent tile looking bigger, because the more faces that is on the screen, the smaller the tile gets. And we want
you can
people
Gerak anytime you like. That looks good.
so that people would be able to see where all this is going. Arun, Haris, any comments?
Yes, I think I want to represent some of the voice from the comment. Okay, some of the comments saying, okay, we know the Gerak independent is very idealistic. Okay, it is very rosy, it's very beautiful, and it's like a bedtime story. How do we reckon this idealism, okay, to be put to realistic? Because if we go around, okay, this past 60 some years or so, okay, very, very few or none independent candidates that made it, okay? And some of the candidates that made to the parliament, they choose to join parties. Again, probably I like to put this question to the panelists. On behalf of the commenters here, because I'm looking at it, okay? Why do you think that this time around, this is more realistic, not idealistic? Because it's good to be idealistic. It's good to be optimistic, but we got to be realistic. Otherwise, it is not going to happen. So why is this movement will gain traction, and why should people support it when the history is saying otherwise?
Can I take that?
On behalf of people, yeah?
Yeah. Before I get into your question, Arun, Jasmine, you threw the question, is this ideal a mythical figure? And in the last webinar, I presented to you my ideal benchmark, and that was Dr. Gerak of PSM, all right? And I will stand by that. I will stand by this, that Dr. Gerak to me presents to us a benchmark to measure the incumbents who will be coming to you all in, I don't know, maybe in the next 5 months, 3 months, 2 years, to seek your mandate again. Dr. Gerak, for me personally, is the figure that I use in trying to work out the vetting process in identifying the ideal candidates. I think he has all the qualities. All right? Now, Arun, to answer your question very, very short and to the pointer, Einstein said trying the same thing over and over again and hoping to get a different result, you've got to be either insane or just a downright idiot. That's it. You know, we have heard time and time again, oh, independent initiative will be the spoiler. Excuse me, you go and look at one of the elections in Batu Sapi. There was no independent candidate, but between PKR and I think Yong Tek List Party, SAPP, They couldn't even come to any agreement. And who was the spoilers? The political parties themselves. One. So basically what I'm saying is this. Year in, year out, we are disappointed. My question is this. If we bring to you candidates for you to have the final say on, this is completely different from what you all are confronted with every GE year. At the 11th hour, a candidate is brought to you. You don't know him from Adams, but kiri, kanan, those are your only choices. So, okay lah, whichever one lah. Now we are saying our vetting process, our scrutiny process is going to involve you. This in itself is a departure from the norm. You have a say. And you know, I'm just going to add this, for those constituencies where we don't offer a candidate, you can use the same benchmarks with the political parties that come a-calling. Use the same. Scrutinize them. And if you happen to think, ala kiri tak boleh pakai, kanan tak boleh pakai, offer yourself. Otherwise, you are nothing more than a armchair critic. Take ownership. So to answer your question, Arul, sudah berapa tahun you cuba ni, main parti, last pun kena tipu, last pun kena tipu, last pun kena, I don't want to use that LIWAT word, but that's what's been happening to all of you. And you still say, no lah, don't want to try. I saw some of these questions. Who's going to vet the vetter? Who's vetting your vetters now? You don't do any vetting, but now when we present to you all a vetting exercise, very simple. If any of you think we will disclose who the vetters are, and if you think you all are better, step forward. Take ownership. Take ownership. We do not own this process. We are doing national service.
Aris, can I interrupt you?
Please, take the floor, my friend.
As Gerak Independent wants independent candidates, I'm now making myself the first to volunteer and subject myself to the scrutiny and the necessary vetting to ensure that I am fit to represent the nation in its highest legislative body. Okay? So I'm taking up the challenge.
Tahniah, Taufik. Tahniah. Now, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. I mean, now Taufik has stepped forward to say he's prepared. He's prepared. We will do vetting. Stringent vetting. But you have the final say. Yeah? Well done, Taufik. Well done.
Congratulations. I'm amazed by your national service, and now Maju will do their we will do our vetting process to make sure that he's worthy every bit of it, and we will set a benchmark for the entire country.
I'm ready.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are, my friend.
And just to echo what Harris just said, okay, to the question they posted earlier, okay, there was some survey done during the Tanjung PI election. Okay, there's about 17% of the constituents were open for the idea of independent candidates then. Okay, without any movement, without any effort at all. The 17% of the constituents think, okay, they want to see more independent candidates that is worthy of their vote. So meaning there's already a sentiment for those that thinking this is too idealistic, this is not realistic, and we will fail, and all the naysayers. Okay, there's already a swelling sentiment on the ground. They are fed up with the organized political parties. They've been fighting for vote just to seize their power and money. Okay, so there's already sentiment. All we have to do, okay, if the 17% is any good number, if we resonate that 17% to our 222 seats in parliament, we are talking about 40 seats. All right, we do not need a 40 seats to be a kingmaker. If we make 20 seats in parliament, that's already more than enough for us to make to call shots in every juncture, to insinuate the people's agenda, to put riot first. So for all those naysayers, okay, yes, everything seems impossible until it is get done. Okay, the same way, okay, there weren't organized movement of Gerak independent. Right now we have that. Very important. This time around, we have people elect platform to promote these independent candidates. And who are these independent candidates? The one already gone through a stringent vetting process, like what Mr. Taufik just said. He offered himself. He offered a national service, okay? And we are very, very obliged, and we are very grateful. And now the vetting process will take on, okay? Only the best, only the right person will be then honored a platform. And that platform is the people elect. Again, once a person pass that vetting process, we can be all very sure every angle, every direction, it is been scrutinized, it has been checked upon, and they are worthy of your vote, and they are the right person, can be the voice in the parliament, and the right person for the Malaysia's ideals. So again, we can say no and nay for everything. Okay, for all the naysayers, all we can say, nothing stops until we stop trying. We fail now, we try again. We try again, because nothing going to change if we don't try. So this is the movement of try, and we last election, the impossible made possible. Okay, and what is this? Okay, all we need people to take ownership. Come on board. Come on board in two form. Whether your money or pull your resources, talk about it, and find the right candidate. And if it's not, volunteer yourself. This is not a making of a politician. It's a making of statesman. Okay, this is a national service. The country is calling for you. And like what Mr. Taufik have already put himself forward for national service, and we are so grateful to him. And again, not enough. We need more people, especially young people. We complain about everything. We are not getting this. We are not getting this. The youth voice is not heard, and all the stuff. Your voice will not be heard if it's only written via your keyboards. Come forward, talk about it, volunteer yourself. Let's do it.
Thank you, Arun.
Can I just add?
Yes, please.
Sorry, Jasmine.
No.
I think we are coming to a crossroad in our nation's history where we have to move away from octogenarians who are going to lead us to people who are more young and who are more vibrant and who have the guts and the willingness to lead us out of our current impasse when it comes to race and religion. Because with all the spoon feeding that we've been given for the last 60 years, there hasn't been much progress made for anyone of the lower income group, for example. And also there has not been very much by way of national integration between East and West Malaysia. We understand the bitterness and the isolation that the people of Sabah and Sarawak feel, but we in Peninsula are no better. I mean, we are subjecting ourselves to all kinds of abuses as a rakyat, and I think we need to move ourselves out from that. We do need leadership, and I really do hope that we will find young people who are willing to come forward and take this nation to greater heights.
Definitely, and I totally agree with you. I mean, as a citizen of Malaysia, I believe I deserve the best. And I believe Malaysia deserves the best. And as a result of that, who is the best person to judge what is best for me, if not me? And this is where I echo every single one of the panelists here, that we have to take ownership, because only we know what we want. And we are done having political parties brokering things for us when actually none of those things is happening. 60 years have gone and we have seen the results of that. Taufik, thank you so much for willing to subject yourself to what is going to be a very tough vetting process, because We've gone in and had discussion, and now we've opened up the process for further comment from the rest of the public. I thank you, and I admire your courage for stepping up. And you know, Taufik is the first, but he's not going to be the last. So what's going to happen? We definitely need your support. You know where to direct your extra funds, where to direct your patriotic funds, and you know where to sign up membership. The Gerak Independent Movement is now officially launched on behalf of Maju, the Third Force, Kita Bantu Kita, and First Malaysia. These are the four first I'd like to assure everybody who's donating towards the People Elect movement, the app, that Maju is a foundation. So their accounts are under high scrutiny from the authorities. So no one will take even a cent away. Everything will be fully accounted for. And when the time comes, accounts will be made available for the public's consumption, right? I am totally floored. It has been an awesome webinar. I would like now to invite everybody to have their closing statement, starting with Arun.
Okay. Once again, as what Aris and Taufik and just been saying, this is a national service. Enough of waiting, enough of complaining, enough of being complacent. It's a time that we all need action. And the Gerak Independent and like-minded NGOs have came forward not to seize the moment for fame, not to have any other agenda other than putting riot first. It is our country, and our country deserves the best. And at the time, people that we have given mandate, people have that came, look into our eyes and promise moon and star, betrayed us. This government is not the government we voted for. This is not the government we all cherish that very night, the fateful night in May. We all can be frustrated. We all can be mad. We all can we all can feel disenfranchised. But this is not the time for us to stay away. The nation's calling you. Mother Malaysia needs your help now. Our mother been abused, been hijacked. We have one mother, that is Mother Malaysia. And all of us, we are the citizen of this nation. We are the children of this Mother Malaysia. Whatever our denomination is, whatever our races is, we east of Malaysia, east or west, north or south, black or brown or yellow or white, whatever you are, the young, the old, and you have to come forward. Okay. In so many ways, if you think if you think you can donate, please donate. If you can afford more, please do more. Okay. If you think you are the right person that we are calling for, you are the right person that this nation needs, please come forward. Do not wait for others to nominate you. You know yourself better. And again, take ownership. This is every inch of this country belongs to everyone, including yourself. You deserve, your country deserves you, and you deserve the best. And for that, to put riot first, we need some really candidates of integrity to be occupying parliament. And this movement could be called occupying parliament. We need a monitor. We need a block to balance the power. Power from who? Power from those that want to seize the power for greed, for power, for money, for their personal agenda, but not riot. They can tell you everything. Once again, I tell you, even the rapists will justify their action. No one can justify the action jumping here and there and breaking the heart and the mandate of people. Once again, we have no time to be disunite. We have to come together, unite. We have to ignite. We can make the impossible possible. Today, this night, okay, all of us, let us bangkit. Ayo, kita bangkit. For what? For us to resurrect the core values and principle of our mother Malaysia. All of us, doesn't matter, you're young, old, left, right, up, down, north, south, east, all of us, come and support us. Okay? If you think you can do better, please join us. Join us. We are the few. We are not the only one. We need more help. We need more resources. The resource in the form of money, in the form of talent, in the form of ideas, in the form of help. The mother Malaysia is crying out loud for help. Come and help. Riot first. Gerak independent. Time is right now. No time to be complacent or complain. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. There was a question by Adeline Chong, and it went along these lines. If there's a winning independent candidate, would they not be beholden to Maju? Now, that's a good question. That's a good question. Now, this is what's been happening in partisan politics. They come to you asking to be given permission to be your wakil rakyat, and then they get in, push come to shove when there's a crisis, they are party reps rather than your rep. Now, I want to make this very, very clear. If Taufik clears the vetting process, first through our efforts, the vetters, and then Taufik goes before you all and is scrutinized and he passes with flying colors, he is not the property of Maju. He is your chalon. And when he's elected, he is your rep. He owes nothing. I want to emphasize this. He owes nothing to Maju. Maju, Third Force, Arun's NGO, and the initiative that Taufik is driving, we do this for you. I want to emphasize this. There is no issue of being beholden to Maju at all. Okay, that's one. Number two, I've seen several questions here. Haris, what about you? Now, I'm going to say this. I think I serve this initiative far more effectively if I do not tie myself down to one constituency. And I want to serve this cause because I think this is probably one of the most important initiatives I've ever immersed myself into. But I will also say this. I will be guided at the end. And if at the end, if there's a need for me to get in, I won't let you all down. All right? Now, please take ownership of this. Work with us. Work with us on this because we need your involvement at every level. And this is why I hope to be traveling through the country very, very soon to start pockets of I am the Third Force initiatives, because you are going to be the strength on the ground to push this through. Thank you so much.
Your turn, Taufik.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Taufik, before you finish up, I want to just tell you,
yeah.
On behalf of the riot, you are going to receive the accolade tonight of Young and Brave.
I echo that.
I accept that with humility. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, it's been an honor for me to be here with you tonight to support the initiatives which have been voiced by Maju and our panelists, Harris as well as Arun, and our lovely co-host, our lovely host, Jasmine. I think a lot has been said and a lot of things are being expected from us tonight. And I can assure you that based on what I have seen and what I've heard, Maju's thrust is not just to create independent candidates for you, but Maju will also scrutinize the existing legislatures and will also support those who have performed, because we are not exclusive, we are inclusive for everybody, and we are beyond party politics, and we would like to make sure that what is done is for the best interest of the Rakyat. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you. And so this is where I close the session, but I want to tell you about the next session, which is going to be on September 12th. This is a significant time because it's towards the celebration of Malaysia Day. And what's going to happen is Gerak Independent Suara Sarawak. We are starting with Sarawak, September 12th. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you are as excited as all of us here in Gerak Independent. And see you in September 12th, guys. Good night.
Good night.